Okay, we're here with Ruli. I took a picture last week or so, and I was pointing out how it's summertime. Motorcycles aplenty. I was pointing out how I really liked her feet shape, and so today's trim day for her, and I thought I would explain a little bit of what I meant. It's about that time. So let's take a look at her feet really quickly, and we can see she's got a little bit of, really, we're moving, a little bit of what kind of can be, you know, seen as a flat front here, and then of course that ends up making these corners and a little bit of sort of a flare. Same thing on here, it's sort of worn the most right there, and then this comes out. But this is easier to see from the bottom. It's, you know, with a trained eye, if you're used to it, you can kind of see, okay, well, it's going to need a trim here and a trim there, and this is a little bit long. We can see these things a little bit better from the bottom, which is where we want to trim from anyways. We don't want to trim from the top down, because we can't tell how far to trim to. So let's take a look at her feet. If we can. Hello, Ruli. She's such a sweetie. Okay, let's put you guys down for a second and ask her to come back onto the mat. Come on, Ruli, one step forward. Atta girl. Okay, so let's take a look. Now, I haven't looked, we're in this together at the moment, so it's all dirty still, so we're going to give it a good cleanings. She's sort of not too bad for that. Okay, so when we look at the bottom of the foot, oh, I'm gonna have to have her foot back. Oh, one step forward, Ruli. Thanks, big girl. Okay, so she's not tied at all. She just has the rope over top of her, over top of the rope, the fence. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to take a look at why I think her feet are pretty darn good, and because I really want to explain myself a little bit, but hadn't had the time at the moment. So when I look at this foot, I see a pretty nice shape, and it's got that nice toe wear. You see that? Just right on the toe there. It's almost right in the center too, which is fantastic. Right there. This is really important. And so based off of this shape here, you can see, if I can get that in decent detail, that we have to take off what we saw from the outside, these pillars. And look at where the heels are. Look at how fantastic the shape of this whole foot. I mean, she's an older horse, so she shows sort of a little bit older horse tendencies, a bit here and there, but this is the before. So I'm going to let her have her foot back for a second here. And I really want to also point out sort of the shape and how we've got just a really nice coronet band that comes back to a strong back end of a foot, and these tubules that are coming relatively straight down. Well, at an angle. At an angle. Same with the other foot. The other foot's looking pretty good too. I'll concentrate on this one for now, give you guys an idea of what I think about when trimming. Okay, so let's grab her foot again, and I'm just gonna actually make a switch. Okay, so I needed to be able to see what I'm taking video of, so I have to make a quick switch here, and let's ask her for her foot again. Okay, so let's get comfy. Hopefully she doesn't want to move too much, and we can get this in frame. Okay, so what I see is, you know, a really good healthy shape. Uh-oh. Really, come back. I need your foot. Okay, let's try again. And this is just hoof trimming 101. You just have to tolerate, in a way, some movement. And then you just try again, say, come on up, step up, One more. One more. You have to move your back feet a little. See, she isn't moving her back feet. She only moved her fronts. There we go. Okay. So, you know, trimming isn't just trimming. It's also some horse handling and recognizing certain behaviors. Okay, so we're going to take a knife, and I tend not to go too crazy on the underside, but we can see that there's some cracks here, and I'll just sort of show those a little bit better like this. And they're really just surface level stuff. Nothing too embedded, like embedded sole or embedded bars. But sometimes it's a little hard to tell when you don't give them a little scrape. But what we're really paying attention to is whether or not the bar itself is laying over and spreading over a bit. So we can help route it with a bit of exfoliation, but there's not a lot to do here, which is great, which is a sign of a healthy foot. So I wouldn't go too much further than this. I think that it would be harmful. So next thing we'll do, get in a slightly different position, and there we go. Try again. All right, so we're going to do the other side, and this side is a little bit more right here. This little bit right where my knife is a little bit embedded, so that's something we'd want to sort of remove and smooth out with. Okay, let's try again. So a little up, a little down. Remove the sand. Okay, and so you can see there's actually a little bit of a hole there, so we're just gonna not necessarily dig it out, but definitely wear out the stuff that has gone in there, because that is essentially a little bit of an embedded bar. Not a lot though, we're just trying to stay ahead of the game a lot. So here we go, a little more. Just reading a post by David Laundreville, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He was commenting on how you gotta sort of let horses shuffle around a little if they're a bit uncomfortable. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. So I'm just gonna go a little further, and this is gonna be a real slow process. You know, you don't have to go quick. I'm just gonna straighten this bit out over here. And I think we're getting close enough to call it a day for that part. But I do want to point out this little ridge here. And I'm just gonna scrape this away. You can see that my knife is taking off a layer that is not getting to this layer, which means that there's a little bit of sort of retained material. Not that we really have to go at it and clean it all out. You can leave it a little cracked, or cracked looking. It's not actually cracked. But I want to keep an eye on this area here a little bit and sort of wear out the stuff this side of it so that it doesn't continue to grow over that way. So I'll just continue to wear this out and just see where it gets to. And it looks like it's pretty, what I would sort of refer to as benign. And then we'll just double check this side too to balance it out a bit. And that's pretty good. Okay, take a look at the frog. Make sure there's nothing really weird growing in the middle. It's solid frog there, not too worried. I'd like it to be a bit bigger of a frog for sure. Could be a little bit bigger, but like I said, sort of some older horses can have slightly smaller frogs, but you know, it's not too bad. It's firm and strong, you know, it's not squishy, so I would say quite healthy. When we look at the walls, we can see that this side is, I don't know if you can see that, but you'd be able to kind of tell. This side is a little higher. Sorry, I moved the whole camera, but this lateral side is a little higher than the medial. So we're gonna fix that a bit, and then we'll fix and round off the walls. We'll let her have her foot back because she's being such a good horsey. Thanks, Ruli. Okay, so then now we're going to make the outside look way better. And this is the process that I go through for every trim. We need a tool I don't have with me. Hang on. Okay, we've got a rasp. Now, I've explained in my other trimming videos here and there that I I don't use nippers, I use a rasp because I like to carve the foot into the shape rather than cut the foot into the shape. And you'll see I'm going to try to match this as best as I can. And that's getting pretty close. Okay, come on this side a little. Bring that down. That doesn't need much, but this does. This bit here needs to come right off to match. Let's see, we're almost there. Almost there. I'm going to switch to the fine side and smooth it over like so. And then take off that edge that exists there to match the front again. There, that's pretty good. Just give that a little rounding, and then we'll finally get to the toe area and just brush over until it all looks pretty uniform. And it's really almost a sanding. Just gonna get rid of a little bit of this corner here. Okay, let's get the brush out again. A little bit more. It's kind of coming in a little bit more than I like, and this side is more worn, so I'm just gonna wear the inside out for her. Ruli says, give me my foot back. Come here, Ruli. Good girl. Okay, let me see again. Almost done this foot. We're really, really close. There. Just a little bit roundy round there. And the last bit that sort of has caught my eye is the frog, now that I've done all of that. And I'm just going to take off these little corner bits. It's not much, but I want to see some slightly better growth come down back here. So I'm going to encourage that by sort of rounding that off with my little nippers. And I call that a done foot. So that's why. Come ahead, Ruli. We need you on the mat. Come along. 1, 2, 3, go. Ruli, step up. Thank you. So that's no trimming from the top. Looks like that. And okay, I'm gonna flip. Got to flip the screen. Okay, and that's why, you know, I consider this foot to be such a nice foot. You can see there, a pretty nice foot to work with. And the fact that it sort of self-maintains a little, there's not any excessive flare of any sorts, the bars aren't really leaning over, and no heavily retained sole. She used to have a lot of retained sole. She's gone through 2 cycles for sure of removing a lot of retained sole. What does she see? She's looking at something. What are you looking at, really? I don't know. Could be the neighbor. But the way the walls come down nice and straight, the way it doesn't flare out at the bottom, the way that it sort of self-maintains and is able to come back to a very symmetrical looking circular shape is amazing. Really, really good. The bars are connected at the heels there, the heel buttress. That's a really important thing. There's probably too many hooves out there that I see where there's a disconnection right here, and you know, right where this heel part meets the bar, there's a disconnection there, and she doesn't have that at all. It's really, really nice and good concavity. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but it's quite a deep foot. So very, very healthy. Very, very happy. So I wanted to explain that. Hopefully that's been informative for you, and I finally been able to I wanted to get to a trim for her before I did the video. She's almost asleep. It's nap time. Oh. Anyhow, okay. So if there's any questions, please let me know anytime. I gotta trim her other foot and then let her go have it. Now I'll do the back feet later. But all 4 feet are about the same kind of look to them. No problems. And that's sort of the process that I go through, especially for a healthy foot. It's not a lot of trimming. It is more carving and shaping than any type of, you know, cutting or drastic changes or big changes. So she's so adorable. Okay, any questions? Let me know anytime. And I'll see you guys in the next one.